I'm Dale Smith for Looney Politics, and the election's over and things are moving at a really rapid pace. Whereas his predecessor would like to take at least a good 6 weeks after an election to transition, Mark Carney is getting on with business at a very alarming rate, which is probably good for the country given the state of the world right now. So aside from the fact that he's going to be going to Washington next week and shuffling his cabinet the week after and summoning Parliament for May 26th with the King reading the speech from the throne on the 27th. Next week is also going to see a lot of changes for the opposition parties. The Conservatives have their big post-election caucus meeting, and that's where they're going to determine who's going to be the leader of the opposition in the House of Commons until Pierre Poilievre can get his seat, which won't be until early to mid-summer, given the time it's going to take to run the by-election in Alberta, where he's going to seek a seat after having lost his own. It'll be interesting to see some of the considerations for who would be up for that post of leader of the opposition in the chamber, and whether there's going to be an attempt to shift the tone from the one that Poilievre has set over the last couple of years, or if it's going to be doubling down on the same tone, the same tactics, the same way in which they operate in the House of Commons, and if this, leader of the opposition in the chamber is basically just a proxy and not someone who is of their own accord. Those decisions will have to be made, and it'll be interesting to see who gets chosen, so stay tuned for that. The NDP are also going to be in the process of choosing their own interim leader, and that is a process which is both with caucus and with the party's national council, so it's a little more consultative than the Conservatives' process within caucus is going to be. And again, there's a question of who would want to do this job on an interim basis and who is going to exclude themselves because they want to run for the party leader on a full-time basis once that process gets underway, probably in the next few months, because they don't want to leave this for another year or two, given the state that Parliament is in, given that it is a minority Parliament, and it could fall within a good 2 years, give or take, depending on the situation we find ourselves in. So that decision also needs to be made. This week, we'll see if this interim leader takes any of the lessons from the election, or if they simply believe that Trump was the only issue that they lost on and not bigger structural problems within the party. Things that Charlie Angus called out in the Toronto Star earlier last week, where he said things like it had become the Jagmeet Singh party and not the party that they had basically grown up in, with its particular ties with blue-collar labor, whom they have lost that vote pretty much entirely in Ontario. So these are things that we're going to have to look at. It's going to be a very busy week. And stay tuned for who those new faces are going to be. For Looney Politics, I'm Dale Smith.